Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Have I lost track of the days again? I have. I think it is Tuesday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Where we're going to be having a look at a puzzle called Vaulted Killers by Jay Dyer. Gosh, I'm disorganised today. I've realised I've got my wrong glasses on, so I can't see properly. That's not a good start. Always when solving Sudoku, do try to make sure you can see the Sudoku. It probably will help you. But yeah, Jay Dyer, absolutely at the top tier, the top table of the world's constructors. She is brilliant. And those of you who are patrons of the channel will know this already, because Jay's Sudoku hunt, Numerical Alchemy, has been, well, you've been doing battle with that over the last couple of weeks. You've still got 3 more days to submit your solutions, either to just enter the competition, which I think requires solving 5 of the puzzles, or if you've solved all 15, you'll be getting a shout out of on the channel in due course. And I'll read you the rules of this one in a moment. They're really simple. And this puzzle has 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters Germany, but I have learnt over time to recognise that 3 stars out of 5 could mean just about anything. Yeah, we'll see. You'll be able to judge better than I will, because you can look at the video length. Now, what else do I need to talk about? I want to say a very, very happy birthday to Liam, who has turned 8, I believe. In fact, well, you're turning 8 today in my time zone, but I fear that this video might be a day late because you're down there in Australia. But I know it's your birthday because your dad Brandon wrote to me. Brendan, not your dad Brandon, your dad Brendan. Don't get confused about that, like me. Anyway, Liam, I hope that you have an absolutely splendid day, of course, or I hope you had a splendid day. With lots of chocolate cake. I think at the age of 8, chocolate cake is required. And also, Max, you have turned 22 today. And I know this because your partner Hayden wrote to us and told us that you watch every day, and we're very grateful for that. So, Max, I hope you're able to have the standard amount of chocolate cake that is due on a birthday, which is a large amount, and that you have a great day indeed. Other than that, the only other thing I've got to tell you about before we get on with Vaulted Killers and see what Jay has in store for us is I need to read out some names of successful solvers of the Fistamafel hunt, which was our Christmas present over on Patreon. So very well done to the following who finished the whole thing, including Ancient Wall. And yeah, we are going to do a video on Ancient Wall. I don't know whether Mark and I will try and do a joint solve of it. But we can't do a live solve of it because we both tested the puzzle. So it's not going to be a live solve, but I think we have got feedback that suggests that quite a few of you would like to see how to logically solve that. So we will try and make a video in due course of Fistmafel's masterpiece. But well done to Heather Trout, I think, Carl Faust, Chris Renahan, Mark Richardson, Brett and Jennifer Duggan. Could be Dugan. Duggan. I'm not sure which. You must tell me if there's any possibility of me getting it wrong. Merrill Jansen, Human Plant, Will Semmer, Matt Dreyer, Benoit Massard, Darko Illich, Steve Tradigio, I think, Somebody. Can anybody find me somebody to love? One of my favourite Queen songs with a slight adjustment. Mr. Mindor, Andrew Clark, Jacob Martin, Desi and Jordan, Alexei Rudenko, and Aaron Hume. All of you. Very, very well done indeed. That is excellent, expert solving, I would go as far as to say. Now, what are the rules of Vaulted Killers? What has Jay concocted this time? These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in a cage may not repeat and must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage, if given. So, yes, okay, we've got lots of cages today that actually don't have totals in them, which is tricky. So all these cages are here for is to tell us that the digits don't repeat, basically. So that digit can't be the same as that digit, because although in pure Sudoku terms those could be the same, because we can't repeat digits in a cage, they cannot be the same. Maverick, how I've missed you. not. Anyway, digits in a cage may not appear in any cell orthogonally adjacent to that cage. So this is the vaulted rule. I can't remember who invented vaults in Sudoku, but it is a really strange rule. So how does this work? Well, let's start with what orthogonally means. So two cells are orthogonally connected if they share an edge. We talked about this yesterday, or was it the day before? So these two cells are not orthogonally connected because they only touch at a point. Those two cells are orthogonally connected because they share an edge. So if we're being told that digits in a cage may not appear in any cell orthogonally adjacent to that cage, we are being told that that cell, let's colour that for a moment, this cell here, if we look in box 2 and ask where that digit goes, not only can it not go in those cells because of Sudoku, or those cells because of killer Sudoku, because it can't repeat in a cage, it also couldn't go in that cell, because that cell is orthogonally adjacent to the cage that it's a part of. So in fact, that digit would have to go over there, and then down there somewhere by Sudoku. So that is already quite interesting, even though we're just doing an example. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. I'm sure my glasses are dirty. They feel dirty. I can't see properly. Let's get cracking. And we will get cracking by, well, maybe that's exactly what we're meant to do. Yeah, this is going to be some colouring exercises now. I'm just looking at the cages that we've got here. This one and this one are very, very mildly interesting in the sort of not really interesting type way, sort of very beige type way. A 6 cage can only be made up in 2 different ways in Sudoku. It could be a 2-4 cage or a 1-5 cage. The 14 cage could be a 5-9 cage or a 6-8 cage. 18 in 4 cells, I really have no idea how many ways there are of doing that, but I'm guessing it's a lot. And 16 in 4 cells. Oh, and there's an 11 here as well, so there are 4 ways of doing 11 in a domino. 5, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8 and 2, 9. So this is going to be something to do with the fact that we're going to have to plot the digits around until we end up with you know, what we're going to find is that certain cages here share digits, and we're going to have to use that to disambiguate everything. So, where should we start? I think we must start with the big cages. I suddenly thought, is there a knight's move? That would have been helpful. No, there is no knight's move in this puzzle. So I'm wondering about this cell actually. Where does this go in the middle box? Let's just give that a colour. Clearly not in those cells. Clearly not. It can't repeat in its cage. It can't go in a cell that is orthogonally adjacent to its cage, so it's in one of 3 positions. But it's not in that, right? It's not in that one, because if it was in that one, it couldn't live anywhere in box 2 anymore, because if it went there, it would be in a cell adjacent to a cage it's in. So that doesn't work. Okay, so green in box 5 is in a domino. Which means, which means green is there. By the power of greenliness. Because, again, oh no, it doesn't mean that. That's total nonsense. Oh, for some reason, I saw this cell as being in this cage, but it's not. Oh, bobbins. Right, okay. That's no good. If green is there, then it is true to say that that's green, because green, we can see by Sudoku, green in box 2 is in one of those 3 cells. But if green is here, it couldn't be in an adjacent cell to the cage that green's part of, so it would get planted right in row 1, column 5. But my mistake was I didn't really appreciate that this cell is definitely not in this cage. So green actually doesn't get restricted at all. That's slightly terrifying actually, because okay, I think we're going to have to do something else then. Maybe we try these. Oh, maybe that cell. No, I don't really like that one either. That cell, if we just apply logic to box 5, it can't repeat in its cage, it can't be in a cell orthogonally adjacent to the cage it's part of, and it can't be in those cells by Sudoku. So it's going to be in one of those three, which is going to place it in one of those three. But again, that seems incredibly underwhelming. That's not going to be how you start a puzzle like this. There's going to be some trick that's going to allow us to actually do something. Now, these are symmetrical. They're rotationally symmetrical, aren't they? Okay, so I could repeat the green logic with this cell. So that cell must be in one of those two cells. Oh, hang on. Have I done that incorrectly? No, that's right, isn't it? In this cell, in this box, not there, not there, not in a cell adjacent to it, not here, because then it would be down there in box 8 where it couldn't go because it would be it would disobey the vault rules. So it's in one of those two. Ah, okay. That cell is the same, isn't it? That's the same as dark green, because this cell, where does this now live? In box 5. And I think it just works exactly the same way as the green cell. It can't go in here in its column, it can't go in there in its cage, and it can't go in those two cells by dint of vault, and it can't go in here by dint of sort of Sudoku-y vault. Right, so red, there's now a red-green pair here. Okay, and that means this cell is red or green. I don't know which, but because now one of these digits is in one of them is in that cell, which we know transposes up here. So it must work the same way the other way round. We could make these a yellow-purple pair, and that's now yellow or purple. That cell in box 1 is strangely restricted. I don't know if this helps, but that cell there, where does it go in box 1? Well, it can't repeat in its cage, it can't repeat in its column, and it can't go in a cell orthogonally adjacent to its cage. So it's in one of two places. That doesn't mean it can't be any of these. Well, it means it can't be this one, but I don't know which one of red or green this actually is. No. Oh, no, okay, that one is similarly a little bit restricted. Where does blue go in this box? Not in its column, not in its cage, not in any cell adjacent to its cage. So that cell is in one of two places in box 4. Wow. No, okay. I am missing something very, very fundamental here. This is just not how to do this. Well, I say that. What I mean is that there must be something that allows me to do some sort of disambiguation, I think. Let's try these wing cells in the funny shape here. The thing is that one feels like it's the most restricted, and all I'm going to learn from that is it's going to go down there. What about this one? That's worse, because that could go here. Ah! Oh no! Oh no! What am I not understanding? Let me look at the rules again. Digits in a cage may not appear in any cell orthogonally adjacent to that cage. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. All right. Oh, of course. Oh, some of you are going to be so cross with me about this. Right. Okay. I mean, there's no point in me even saying pause the video. Everything I've done in this grid is, I think, totally unhelpful. I'm actually thinking I might just start again, because I now see what I can do to actually. I can't see exactly. I know what I think I have to do. Is perhaps the best way of describing this. So, okay, what I've just seen, it relates to this. Well, these big cages, where what I should have done is say, okay, that's a 6-cell cage. So that is 6 different digits. Well, therefore, those 3 cells they cannot appear in this cage. These 3 cells cannot appear in this cage. So these digits and these digits overlap. I think what we have to do, every orthogonally connected cell with this funny shape is the same 3 digits. All of those have to be selectable from the same 3 digits. And I can see, look, that's giving me triples and things. So I suspect this is total. Well, yeah, okay. So that is interesting as well. Maybe we won't restart just quite yet. But what about this cell? Do I have a colour for this cell? I will make this grey just for a moment. That cell, I know it doesn't live in this cage by dint of rule. And I know it doesn't live in this cage by dint of rule. Yes, I see. So that's digits. Those digits are the same digit. Because, let me explain. We know that every orthogonally adjacent cell to this funny region is one of those 3 digits. Because we can't put any of those 6 digits into these orthogonally connected cells. So you can see that that's a triple of the digits that are not in this cage. So in this triple, which one is grey? Well, it must be that one. So that's grey, and then but we can just reverse that logic, and that must be grey as well. The worry here is that I'm actually now thinking that the best way of doing this puzzle might be to just do a complete colouring exercise, which I'm worried is going to expose my colour blindness and possibly some of yours to the maximum. I'm actually thinking I might colour this, well, or maybe what I could do, although I don't think it would be popular, is I could use digit labels and I could do this and say that all, maybe I'll use letters. Oh, yes. Sometimes you have to be a little bit naughty. That's what I learnt when I watched Matilda at the weekend. And I think that's true. So maybe I won't be naughty and use numbers, which I know some people would view as sort of heavy bifurcation. But all I'm trying to do here is say that I need a way of labelling digits in the grid. Now, ordinarily I would use colours, but using colours for 9 different colours, the problem is that even with the incredible range of colours that we have, experience has taught me that I can't see the difference between all of the colours as well as I'd like to. I'm all right with 4 or 5 colours, but 9 different colours, that might be a bit OTT. So what I could do is label, these digits 1 to 9, fill the puzzle in, and then try and work out, I'm going to be left with, I don't know, a 9 here and a 9 here and a 9 here, and then I will know those 3 digits are the same, even though they may not be 9, and they wouldn't be 9 because there's a 6. That's a 6 cage. But some people don't like that, even though it is just colouring in a different form. So what I could do what I could do, I'm going to restart the puzzle. I'm going to restart. I'm going to use letters. So let's do this. C, D, D, E, F, G, H. Oops, G, H, I. Okay. So this way, we're not going to get polluted. We aren't going to get sidetracked by thinking that any of these numbered cages have anything involved in them. So now I want to look at, in relation to these cells, I know that every single orthogonally adjacent cell to this 6-cell cage is from E, F and G, because they're the only digits by rule that I'm allowed to put into them, and those are not E. So that's E. We've learnt that that's E from the work we did before, in exactly the same way applied to this cage. G, that's not G, is it? Oh, that one's G, because that's not E or F. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Okay, that's not G. One of these is G. So I can see you can see weird things now. Like by Sudoku, there is a G in one of those cells in row 9. Because if we look at, I know that there's a G in this domino, in this column, because there's an EFG triple. And I know that there's a G here. So I know there's no G's in any of those. And therefore there must be a G over there. That's where we have to put the G's in row 9. We could get some interesting sentences today. Right. So therefore, let's think about this. So in the top shape, we can do the same exercise, but this time it's these 3 cells that are orthogonally adjacent to this cage. So it's C, E, and C, D, and E have to occupy all of the orthogonally adjacent cells. So let's put that in. C, D, E. Those are not E. That's not E or D, so that's C. Wow, C. That's not C. Ah! I'm not used to typing these, as you can see. Okay, right. And before I restarted, I proved that those 2 squares mapped onto those 2 squares in box 5. So they must be an AD pair, I want to say, in some order, which means, oh, that's beautiful. It's really cool. I love this because it's working. Look. And so now that's A, which is okay, which is what we expect. I think we actually did prove that before. But now those 2 squares must be I and F by exactly the same logic, which means that cell is I. Okay, so now I can presumably work out what these 2 squares are, because they are the digits. They're every letter that is not E, F, and G and not already in the cage. So one of them is C. There must be a C in this cage because it's not one of the cells that's next to the cage and it hasn't appeared in the cage yet. So the C, that's a C. And I'm going to get this one as well. That is B. It's B. That's not appeared. So can I do the same on this side? These 2 squares they are not A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are G and H. Okay, and we can get G, and therefore we can get H. So now in row 5, I haven't placed A, B, C, D, E, F, I. A and I. We get an AI pair. Lots of news about AI at the moment. We've been exploring using AI in some of our thumbnails. I don't know if any of you will have spotted that. So BG. This is a BGH. BGH triple. Now, can we do anything with that? Is there actually a way that we can use this funny rule to help us? Yes, there is. That is not B, Because were that to be B, you couldn't put B there in a cell orthogonally adjacent to this cage. That is not B. I don't know if I can do better than that. Okay. I've got a DE pair here. An EF pair there. Can I? No. Okay. Now I'm starting to struggle again. Okay. Let's label up these cells in case they're going to be helpful. So they are BC, an H, I think. I can't see an H in this box. And this cell, well, I mean, obviously, we'll already have got rid of D and G from here. So what we need to do now, I don't actually know. All right, let's think. Can we do any Sudoku? That would be an interesting thing to be able to do. I can see there's a B over here by Sudoku. G, no, that doesn't look good. H is in one of those two cells by Sudoku. Wow. Oh, that's... No. I was about to make an... Well, nearly. That cell, whatever that cell is, it can't be the same as this, can it? Because then it would be adjacent to it. So if I knew whether this was D or E, I could eliminate that from... Oh, hang on. Hang on. Is that C, or am I going mad? Yes. Oh, no, it is. It is. It's weird. This is very peculiar. Okay, but that's C, I think. Bear with me here while I try and explain why. Were this to be D, I think it's clear now. I sort of understand. Then you can see you can't put D now in box 4 at all, because this couldn't be D because it sees it orthogonally via the vaulted rule, and that couldn't be D by dint of Sudoku. So actually that is fairly straightforwardly C. So that gets me a C here and a D here. This is now not C. So C. Oh, that's beautiful. Good grief. Even this is enough. Look, C. So there's a C down here, but it's not in the cage. It's not in a cell orthogonally adjacent to the cage. So that's... This is a song you don't get to sing very often. That's C in the corner. That's C in the spotlight, losing its religion. No, we can't quite get a C in the corner up there. Oh, that's quality. Right. It doesn't feel like there's nearly enough information here to finish this puzzle. It feels so short of... Oh, G. I can get G here now, because G apparently is there, so it's not allowed to go there. Is that useful? I hear you ask. I don't know is the answer. G is in one of those cells. Now, if G was here, that couldn't be G, so that's not G. So G is in one of those cells now. And maybe we've got to just do a full sort of alphabet trawl on box 4 and label all these digits up. A, I, B, A, B, I, and F. I've not put F into this box. Nah, that doesn't feel very useful, does it? So, but I'm going to do it. A, I, B, F. Now that's not A or B, apparently, actually. I have got that right, haven't I? It's very, very possible I won't have got this right. Those have not got I in them. So I is vertical. Is that helpful? So this digit, yeah, we sort of looked at this at the very start. That digit goes up there, doesn't it? But I don't think we know enough yet to know which, well, to know which of F and I this is. Golly, I feel very, very out of my depth here, I have to say. How can we do this? C. Okay, I could do something with C in this box. I can see. Because C can't go in that domino, because then it would break this cell by volt rule. So C is in one of those two cells, which means those two cells can't be C, and I get a C there. So these become B and H now. So now B and H can't be in those cells. So B in this box is maybe more restricted. B is in now one of those cells. No, that can't be B, can it? Because B then couldn't come in these two cells. My phone is buzzing, that's fine. So I think there's going to be some sort of restriction on B emerging in box 7 at some stage. If that, yeah, actually it's the same for that cell, isn't it? If that was B, I couldn't put B there because it would see it by Sudoku, and I couldn't put B there because then that cage contains a B that stops that becoming a B. No, yeah, that can be B if that's B and that's B. So look, B is really restricted in box 7. Can I get rid of it from here somehow? I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. G? Yeah, let's... Oh no, G I've already got pencil marks. So G lives in a cell in box 3. Possibly a G in the corner. I've never sung that song before either. That's G in the corner. Alright. So where's the jiggery-pokery that we need to find to unwrap this? I suppose what I haven't done in box 6 is list the possibilities either, have I? So maybe I've got to do that. A, D, I believe. Oh no, that's fine. A, D, that can't, and H is up here. And these can't be, and I as well, sorry, I is also possible. So I could be up here. So this is not A, so this is DHI. But these cells, those cells are not next to a cage in any sense. So literally I can do nothing with these. This is A or I, this is A or D. And that is next to a cage. So A is definitely in this domino, which is nearly interesting. I can't see how to use that in box 9. Maybe I've got to also think about the fact that I've got 5. Effectively, I've got 5 digits in column 7. I need A, D, H and I. A, D, H and I. I don't think that's great, actually. I'm wondering now whether I should have used numbers. I'm finding it harder to use letters than I expected. I expected it to be. Can I? I don't think I can do much here. What am I missing? Is there some... It could be Sudoku, obviously. That's always possible with me. See, H in this... H can't go there, can it? Because then it's going to break this cell. So H is not here. So H is in one of 3 positions. Don't think I've quite got alignment on how that's going to work. Well, it's unsurprising. It's difficult. It's a Jay Dyer puzzle after all. Can I use these big cages anymore? Is there something I can say about? No, I'm not seeing anything. Right, I think I'm going to have to resort to Sudoku in these columns. That feels like the only likely path. So I'm going to actually label these digits up. So in column 3, we have not placed A. We have not placed B. Whoops. Wow, where's B? B. C, D, E. We've not placed F or I. Now what can we get rid of? We can get rid of A from that one. So this is B, F or I. That's useless, I think. This one... No, this one can't be I. Oh, and you can't put B in this cage because then neither of those could be B. So B is almost restricted in this. This is either AF or IA or IF. A, B, F, I. A is definitely here. I can't see anything terribly good there, if I'm honest. Right, I'm actually going to revisit this column then. So where we need A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H and I. So again, I comes out from the bottom digit. We know that this is an E, F, G triple, so that's not relevant. That can't be D. Is there anything else that can't be? It can't be that digit, but it never could be. C is being ruled out of it anyway. This digit is not under pressure. That digit can't be A. So that digit, I mean, it could impact this. If that was an H, then neither of those squares could be H. But... yeah, it's not good enough. Okay, so what I think I'm now missing is there must be... So I think it's got to be something fairly fundamental as well, I'm afraid. So it's a bit like at the beginning where I couldn't spot something. Maybe there's something going on here. What are the options for this cell? Is that somehow under pressure? I doubt it. But it cannot be. I'm going to colour that one just for a moment, just to have a think about this. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that is mildly interesting. So this digit, I think we got this from colouring before. We worked out it was in one of those positions. Now we can see that, in fact, we could label it as G, E or D. Now, it's either this digit or it's this digit. Can we do better than that? It looks like it's trying to form something along row 7. Oh, it's not G. Look, it's not G. There's a G here. So we can reduce this to D or E now. Oh, which means it goes there. Okay, so that actually... I'm going to go back to colouring. Those digits are the same now. Is that interesting? I don't... Okay, so where's that digit now by Sudoku in this box? Isn't it here? Or is that nonsense? D or E? Yeah, so that digit is now the same as that digit, which is, okay, so this is a DE pair. Good grief. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, no, that's fine. I was suddenly thinking that couldn't be, but that's fine. That's fine. Because this is not in this cage, so that works. So B and H come out of here, which means that H is now definitely in one of these two cells, which means by Sudoku, H is definitely in one of those cells. I'd love to rule it out of this one, then I'd have a GH pair. And B is now in one of these two cells, so B has definitely been restricted. And DE, the other DE, is up there somewhere, which might be in some way important. I'm not sure. Okay, so now I'm going to think about that cell. This is a massively hybrid puzzle today. This cell is not allowed to be anything that's in that cage. Okay, does that... It's also not A. That cell cannot be A, because then you couldn't put A in this box. If that's A, you couldn't put A in the cage, and you couldn't put A there. So that cell is not A. Does that work the same? I think that works the same. It's not B. We can see it's B. B is in one of those. I think I've already done that logic. It's not C. It's not D or E. So at the best it's F. Now can it be F? Maybe. If it was F, it would be very useful. Really very useful. That would force this to be F. And force this to be F, and the whole thing might fly from there. So F, G, could be it could be H, couldn't it? We've already got this pencil mark in here, and it probably could be I. If it's I, yeah, maybe it can be I as well. So this has come down to F, H, or I. I don't know if we can improve upon that somehow. I wish I knew. Right. You got DE here. DE there. Can I... Hang on. Yeah, C, D, and E, isn't it? So that's fine. Every cell around this shape is C, D, or E. But I don't see how to differentiate those. Okay, sorry. I have a horrible feeling now that everyone's shouting at me about something very simple. And logic is simple when you spot it. But until you do, believe me, it can feel very recalcitrant and annoying when you can't see how to get something figured out. So what could it be? Have we got everything we can get? I know there's a G in this domino. What about that digit then? So that digit, whatever that is going to be removed from this cell, isn't it? Because obviously this cage bounds this cell. So this digit is going to find itself a home in one of, looks like it's only one of two positions in this box. It's going to be in one of those two cells. And if it was E, it would have to be this one. But if it was F, I think it could be either. It's almost good enough. Almost. it feels like we're one deduction away, or that's a future deduction that we're on the verge of being able to use. Right. So, what else could it be? Which cages do I feel I've underused? Well, I feel like I've underused... I don't know, actually. I feel like I've underused this one. I mean, I really don't have much labelled in that one, but I don't really see how to get much more into this one. Is there some sleight of hand I'm meant to appreciate about this cage here? I can see there's no, I don't think it's that. I wonder whether there's a way of proving this can't be H, or... I actually felt I was getting further with this cage, I have to say. I wish there was a way of knowing what this was. Or we could... I don't know. I'm properly stuck. D-E-F-I. D-E-F-I. There's definitely an H over here. There's definitely apparently an A up here. But that can still be A. What about... Oh, D... Oh, there it is. It's my fault. It's totally my fault. This tiny cage here, which I hadn't focused at all, because I've been so obsessed with these. Oh dear, look, that D sees that cage by the virtue of D-ness. So they become E, which means those are all D now. Now, does that do anything? This is going to be interesting. See whether this totally opens the puzzle up for me. Yeah, it does, look. Now that's become F, apparently. That becomes E. Oh, come on. These become an FG pair. So which gives me an FG... It gives me an FG pair in this row. So we can take F out of these cells. Which feels like... I'm sure that's doing something. Oh, F now can't go there, look. So that's got to be G. Which means this is F. Which means this is F and this is G. Wherever G is on my keyboard. So F is now here in the 14 cage, for what that's worth. That loses its ability to be F. That becomes a bi cell. A bi cell. It sounds capitalist, doesn't it? And then we get stuck for a moment or two when I think F finds a home up there. Let's put it in. And what's happened here? D has removed itself from those two cells. So these cells say hi to us. That means this cell's an A, this cell's a D by virtue of nonsenses. This has become an I, so that becomes an F. Okay, that's great. These lose their effication. They become an A-B pair. Oh, this is comedy. This has become a comedy solved. I think this must be... This is up there with Nori Nori in terms of the absolute gibberish I've been spouting during this one. But I still haven't solved it, have I? I feel we're getting closer, but we still haven't solved it. So where now is F in this box? That's a good question. Well, yeah, where's F in this box? It's got nowhere to live apart from there, I think. because it can't repeat in its cage. It can't go there. It's not D. It's not by. And it can't go in an orthogonal cell. So that's become F, which means that is no longer an F. Oh, we've nearly got something useful there, but not quite good enough. Okay. So presumably, I don't really know where to look, but presumably, what about D in this box then? If we put D in there, that's not going to work, is it? So D is in one of 3 places, but unfortunately I don't have any communication with D after that. So okay, that's not going to be it. Right. Have we got a way of knowing how to disambiguate the A's and B's in the world? Or maybe I should go back to this cage. No, this cage, everything orthogonal to it has now been figured out. So that's not going to be where we look. We know there's an A in this domino. I'm going to label that. Yeah, okay. So A, where does A go in the bottom row? One of 2 places only. Potentially interesting, but I don't think good enough. Yeah, I think I definitely have not done this puzzle using the correct technique. So I've tried to invent this technique of using letters. I think I might have been better using numbers. I'm just not used to using letters, and it's forced me to come a cropper. Something chronic, hasn't it? Okay, what could we do here? Do I have to A, B, D, H, and I? So okay, let's fill these in. A, B, D, H, I. That's not A or D. So this is B, H, or I. And whatever it is, it couldn't appear those and wouldn't. So that's fine. This one can't be D, because then that would prevent that from existing. So D is a naked single in this row. Is that really true? That's horrible. I think it's true. Because once this becomes D, you can't put D here because it would break this cage. Oh no, it's just obvious. It was this D that was doing it. D, A. Okay, just an absolute fiasco in terms of Sudoku. The by cell becomes B. That becomes an A. Probably does something. That becomes a B. So B is now placed in box 2. So B. It's not placed in box 3 though. Oh, we could have got a B in the corner as well. All of these letters, they all rhyme with me. So we could have had all sorts of things. That's become H because it's got to be. That's become a B by the power of Beeliness. That's B. That's A. That's B. Whoops. That's H. So I have got, look, I've got almost got ADHD in the bottom row. ADH. So those are not, well, they're not H for sure, and that one's not A. So this is these are buys, which means those are C's, CE. And can we delete anything? AD, we get H in the corner. There's no song for that. There's no conceivable way that rhymes with me. So we get H in the corner. AD here. Is that next to anything? No, no. Right, tidy up the C pencil mark. H, the H is giving me an H here and an I here, which gives me an I here and a B here, which means that's a B apparently by the medium of pencil marking. So we have an absolute festival of B's in the grid. All the B's are done. H's are not yet done. No, H's are not done. But I think we're getting closer. Slowly but surely we're whittling this away. And for our next trick, oh, of course, look, F. If that's an F, it's next to this cage which has an F in it. Oh, I'm so bad at this rule. I'm just appalling at it. There's no excuse. It's simply appalling. So F now, by Sudoku, is there, taking a place of a G. So G's moved up a little bit. Those two squares, we can work out what they've got to be. E and I. Oh, I can be placed then. So that's I. That's become E. That's no longer I. So we got an R. Which, if this is AH, that's now become a D. That's become A. Which means this has become I. Which presumably is resolved somehow. I mean, I don't quite understand how. So this is AG or H, apparently. That cell there. Let's fill that in, and just, because that seems very unlikely that we can't improve upon that. Really? I don't know. That seems to be, yeah, unsolved. All right, let's try the. What have we got remaining here? We've got C, E, and G. Keg almost. That's not able to be E. That's not able to be C. So yeah, we've got a perfect triple there with no. Yeah, with I was going to say with no cages to help us, and that's true. So if that was H, that would force this to be H and that to be H, which would be quite helpful. Okay, well let's fill in this column then, where these have got to be C, E, and D. Now, what can we do with that? Oh, this is a naked single, apparently we've just discovered. It has to be E, which means this is E, this is C, that's become a D, that's become a G, so that's C in the corner. So I've got two C's in the corner. This is completely comical. That's no longer G, so which means this cell is an A or an H, I think. So we've got A, G, H. Oh, so this is G or H. So how does this get fixed then? I'm presuming it does get fixed. It doesn't seem. Is it possible that it doesn't get fixed? Except no, it must get fixed. This is just Sudoku. This is a Sudoku puzzle. It must get fixed. But how? How does it get fixed, Simon? Maybe I know what. I've got R's here. GH is here. What can I get rid of? This one feels like it can't be as many things as it's got in it. Or maybe, is this doing something? GH here, so yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because you have to look at those three cells as well as those three cells are either C. But I don't think that's resolved. Oh, I'm disappointed with myself. I thought I would be able to fill in the whole grid. I've got a fib down here. Okay, come on. There must be a way of doing this. I want to do the whole thing before I start thinking about. You see, I can. Well, maybe you see, I have actually just seen something about the numbers that's interesting. So I might be able to do the numbers at this point, but I'm going to refuse to do it. I'm just going to refuse to do it until I can do the Sudoku. How do we do the Sudoku from here? How? That's the question I want to ask. Is it solvable or is it not solvable? Have we used all the information in this grid? I see this can't be it, can it? That's not touching a cage. That is touching a cage. So if that was H, that would force this to be H, this to be H, this to be A, that to be G. And now I've lost track. As if this is H, wasn't it? So that would be G. And that would be A. Oh, this C's a G. How can I not see that? Tell me. I'm just so bad at this rule. It's because I think my brain sees the ones that are not caged. It doesn't see the ones that are caged. So that sees the G there. So that gives me R, which gives me a G. That's G in the corner. That's an H. And that does do it. Okay, so that then forces this to be H, that to be A, that does the R, and that becomes G. Right, so now I'm going to get rid of all the colours if it lets me. Will it let me do that? Maybe it won't. I thought it would, but it didn't want to. I tried to do Control A, but maybe I've just confused it to the absolute max because of all of these letters. Now, the thing I saw is, look, there is an I in that 14 cage, and there is an I in that 6 cage. Well, the only thing I can therefore be is 5, because if it was anything else, you couldn't make, if you try and make this 4, for example, this would have to be a 10. And if you try and make this 6, that would have to be a 0. So we now know H is definitely 1. We know F is definitely 9. Now, does that reveal anything useful? So, in fact, let's highlight the cages that have... Well, let's highlight the remaining cages that have numbers in them. I think it's only those 3. That's weird. Is that all we've got? Okay, so these have got to do massive work. Oh, I see. Right, no, they don't. Right, this AEC combination now sees a 1 in its row, and that's a real 1, remember? So how do we make those 3 digits add up to 9 without using 1? That A, E, and C are a 2, 3, 4 triple now. A, E, and C. So this digit is a 2, 3, or a 4. So it's not a 2, because that would clash with the 9. So this is 3 or 4. C is 3 or 4. C is 3 or 4 in the 16 cage. C is 3 or 4 in the 16 cage. There's also an E in the 16 cage. So we've got C, E. And these are 2s, 3s, and 4s. Okay, well, it's not 3, 4. It's not 3, 4, because if it was 3, you can see in this cage we have a real 5. So those 3 digits add up to 11. So if C and E were 3 and 4, you'd need another 4 in the cage, and that's going to repeat the 4 in the cage. So that's not right. What if this was 2 and 4? 2 and 4, you need a 5. That doesn't work. So this is not... So there's no 4. Aha. Right, so so A is 4. That's a simple way of saying it. A is the only place 4 can go. C and E are 2 and 3. So we've got 2 and 3 here. So we now know what B is. B is 6. So B becomes 6. Oh, it's still not telling me. Okay. That's weird. I thought that would do it, but no. So it must be to do with the value of C. Oh, C is 2. C is 2 or 3 according to the logic here. And I worked out it was 3 or 4 according to the fact that G needed to not be 9. So the fact is C is not 2. So E is 2. C is 3. Which is, so I do get 3 in the corner. I did get 2 3s in the corner. I don't know if sometimes people do this deliberately, but then I get, so now G by mathematics is 8, and D is 7 by Sudoku. And that is the solution. That was not the most impressive and efficient way to solve Vaulted Killers by Jay Dyer, but it was perhaps the most amusing, and I'm predicting there was a fair amount of shouting at me during that, and what did I do wrong? I just did the wrong technique, I think. I did the wrong technique. It didn't play to my strengths. It relied on me being able to scan Sudoku in strange ways, and that was troubling. But I did get through it logically, and hopefully I will at least have made a couple of you laugh. Apologies. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.